Yes.
Dear participants, we are happy to have you here. We are expecting 7 participants. So now we are 6. That's me, Ernest, and Emiliana. So out of 7 participants, we are missing 4, but we can start. I would like to extend my gratitudes to everyone. Thank you for showing an interest for this course. Maybe a bit of introduction. Blended learning intends to help you to think about your course, how to transform your conventional course into the format that can be accessible online. So it's a combination of face-to-face and online experiences. So you learn more about this and how it can be done. And originally, we were supposed to be meeting in Moshi, but for week 1, we decided to make week 1 online because we have 2 categories of participants. Category 1, new beginners, the participants who have joined our course for the first time, and then we have category 2, people who joined our course for the second or third time. So we thought we cannot mix you in the same class. It will make life very difficult. So we decided to introduce the idea online so that when we meet in Moshi next week, you will be on the same page with the advanced group. So this is the reason we are here, and we decided to start online. I would take this opportunity to welcome my counterpart. This is Ernest. Ernest is very experienced with distance learning. He has conducted a lot of trainings in Africa. He has been to Namibia, South Africa, and did you go to West Africa, Ernest?
No, never. I was in Tanzania as well now.
So it's Namibia. So it's Namibia.
Yes, and South
Africa, and Tanzania.
Right.
And in Tanzania, you have been with us for how many years since? That was since
it started 2017 in Mawa,
yeah,
and then twice in Moshi, and then last year I was just giving a support over a distance like now.
Okay, so this is Ernest, very experienced. I have to be honest, he has introduced me. He's the first person to introduce me to blended learning concept. And I have seen how useful this course can be. So those who do not know me, this is Christian Boya. I am teaching at University of Dodoma, and I will be working with Ernest closely to make sure that you get whole idea. So could you please Emiliana, we will ask you to mute. Emiliana has left.
Has left, yes.
Yeah, I think it's internet connection. Yeah, so I teach at University of Dodoma, and before I went to Dodoma, I was teaching in Mwenge University, that is in Moshi, and a bit of experience. It was Ernest who introduced me to blended learning. We were conducting these courses in-service training with Carl and the rest of the team, and I was doing ICT in education. And later I met Ernest, and we decided to work together, and he introduced me to the idea of blended learning, and I have tried it in Mwenge, and I'm also using it here in Dodoma. So I want to say, I will share with you my experience from Mwekau, that's Mwenge Catholic University in Moshi, but I'll also share experience from University of Dodoma and how it works. So for this week and for next week, I will do that. I will show you that it can work in Tanzania. But now I would like to welcome Ernest to take the lead to introduce us to this idea, and then we will proceed later. Before Ernest starts his presentation, I would also like to introduce Emiliana. Emiliana Kweka works at Simuko, and she was with us last year, and she was with us in the follow-up calls. We had the follow-up calls online, and she has proven that she has been trying these ideas, and we thought that she can also join us as a mentor. So this year, there will be 3 of us. There's Ernest, who's quite experienced, and there is me, and there is Emiliana, who has tried the ideas for the past year at Stefano Moshi Memorial University in Moshi. So Emiliana, are you here? You can
Yes,
also
I'm
greet us.
here. Can you
Yeah.
hear me?
Yes,
Yes,
and we would
very
like to see
welcome.
you.
Oh, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. But before I
can-
greet,
You
I
can allow
proceed with.
you can allow your video, please.
Oh, okay, sure. Good afternoon, everyone.
Hello. Hello.
Good afternoon.
I'm fine. Before I proceed, can you please, somebody between you or either Mr. Christian, share a link again for beginners? There are some who cannot find the link in the group.
Okay, I'll do that. So you can
Thank you.
introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. I'm Emmeline, a mentor, and I will be with you toward this 2 weeks program. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Emiliana.
Thank you very much.
To have you.
Thank you, sir.
So yeah, so because we want to make sure that we have stable internet, I will disable my video, and Emiliana will also disable hers, and then we have Ernest presenting. So Ernest, you're welcome.
Okay. Hello, everybody. I would like to introduce you first to the website, just because this is the central information hub for our course. You could actually go through the content of this website and learn everything. But what we are doing also is to have every second day a Zoom session, so we can ask questions, we can share experiences, share ideas, and that makes this study more of a collaborative learning, which makes more fun. You have received a task for today. The task was to have a look at the course here. And if you haven't done this before, please make this needs analysis. You can click here on this button, and then you can answer these questions and you go through the content of the whole course, and it gives you an idea what we will be talking about and how your individual learning status is. Then you go through chapter 1. Chapter 1 has a lot of elements where we compare conventional face-to-face teaching with online teaching and the blended learning teaching. There are also different models of blended learning. You can always read through and learn more about this. What is today a main focus is in what sense is blended learning different from the traditional lectures? And this can be looked at from different perspectives, either from us, from the teacher, who has a different situation in a blended learning approach, but we should also reflect about what is the problem for the learners if they are not going into a real brick and mortar classroom, but if they are going on the internet. This is actually what is in chapter 1. Once we have discussed this everything, you can also go to chapter 1 review, and there you find a number of tasks, and you can also get hints about more information. So you see, this self-directed learning is a crucial element of the blended learning approach. And I think it's an interesting phase for you to realize and to experience what it means to learn online, mixed with face-to-face that you will do next week. Now, let me go into these different topics. Now you should be able to hear me. Can you hear me? Okay. There is Alicia is entering. I will allow her to enter. Welcome, Alicia. I don't have him on my list. I wonder why. Anyway, just to explain you how the transfer of a conventional course on the left side to a blended learning to your course is made. You should identify now one of your lectures to transfer it into a blended learning course. It's very important that what you learn about these different methodologies can be really applied to one course of yours. But we won't just magically transfer the whole course into a blended learning course, but we rather take one element after the other just to make it more and more blended. And in the process, you will have then a really full-fledged blended course. Now, I would like to ask you, you were reflecting about what are the problems, the characteristics of online learning course. You might have had an experience with an online learning course, or you are right now having this experience with this course. What do you think are advantages and disadvantages of an online course? Please just switch, unmute your microphone and tell us what your opinion is. We want to make these courses as interactive as possible. So you're really invited to join us. Okay, there are some more people that want to come. Okay. Fine. Just please unmute and talk about your experience or your opinion about online learning.
Me?
Anybody.
Okay. First of all, I left. I think I exited the meeting.
Yeah.
I'm happy to be back.
Yes.
So I hope you talked about the difference between blended, I mean, online. You were introducing the concept, right?
No, actually, I wanted first to have their opinion, and then I want to go into the details. So please just talk about your experience. What do you think about online learning? What is difficult? What is easy? What is helpful? What are the benefits? What are the challenges?
Yeah, maybe I also join you in welcoming them to give their experience. Jamani, karibuni. Ukisikia online learning, wewe unaelewaje? Grace, Lucas, Hemedi, Elisha.
Maybe
Yes.
for us beginners, some people we haven't had any online training. So maybe by quick understanding, it's about using online resources for teaching, maybe using advanced online resources like projectors. I don't actually know what this online training is based on.
Okay.
Is it using online resources or what?
Okay, so I will go into the details and make a comparison between conventional face-to-face teaching with online and blended learning. So what I want to do now is I will talk about the strength of typical lecturing, of what we are knowing as teaching, the opportunities, the weaknesses, and the threats. So the typical face-to-face teaching is very efficient because you have all your students, you can monitor the progress of the students. The teacher is fully in control. On the other hand, the lecture is just actually attending or focusing on an average student, and you might not be able to individualize and teach on the level of each and everyone. So the students, they are probably taking notes and are not well engaged in the learning process. Of course, if you are an enthusiastic lecturer, you can have a great impact on the learning success of your students. It's this way, it's very time effective. And if you want to introduce new ideas, you can make a speech and declare what the characteristics are. On the other hand, I see there is somebody new here. Could you please mute the microphone?
Vipi, unaweza?
Amaleti Mdemu, can you please mute your microphone? Thank you.
Thank you. Now, online learning is quite different. I mean, online learning would mean you're watching tutorials, you're running tests on the computer, you are working with the computer, and you have maybe contact over the screen. That might be possible. But on the whole, the advantages of online learning is it can happen at any time and any place. So you are sitting at home and you can work in the afternoon or in the evening. It's up to you. You can learn on the self-paced at the speed that's ideal for you. In a way, it's also cheaper. You don't have to travel. You don't need a lot of infrastructure, except for the computer and the internet. It has some weaknesses. I mean, you need a lot of self-control. If you go into a classroom, you know, now we study. But if you have to work in this afternoon, you have to take control and not your tutor. It's ideal to fill knowledge gaps because you can then exactly focus on what you want to learn and leave. And this makes the online learning very effective. On the other hand, you might also find that you are isolated, that it's difficult to work on your own. You may miss other colleagues to exchange ideas and so on. That's why isolation is one of the main problems, and dropout rates in online learning are very high because we are a social animal and we want to be with others together. Now, what I want to talk about now is the blended learning. This is a mixture between online and classroom learning. And if we can use both of them, we can take advantage of the advantages of both of these methods. You can partly study at the time, at the place where you want. It's excellent, it's easy to differentiate between different learning levels. Student monitoring is easier than online, in the online approach. And this is why it's very easy for groups that have very different levels of knowledge in the beginning. On the other hand, you as a teacher, you must realize that you are not so much in control. So you have to give your students tasks, assignments, but then they are on their own. Of course, it's also interesting at all the advantages of the online learning and the face-to-face learning can be mentioned here as well, because it depends what learning phase you use in the online learning phase and which one in the face-to-face phase where you see your students physically. Now, what is the life of a student in a blended learning course? He may sit at home, and this workplace at home may be not ideal. The students have to organize their learning, and that's very often a problem because they're not used to organize it they themselves. We have another student coming now. Then another problem is students do not know where they stand, whether they have overlooked something, because they have not as much feedback from other students and from the tutor. So as I mentioned before, this is one of the main problems. We need a lot of self-control if we study on our own, because isolation is not what we enjoy. Once a student learns a new concept, he may miss to discuss these issues with other people, because by discussing new concepts, only then you really learn it with all its characteristics. If a student gets stuck, somehow he doesn't understand something, so he has nobody to get help at the moment. So we must tell him, make a note, and in the next face-to-face session, ask this question. So it's another strategy for the learners that make them successful. If you're on a screen, you know, if you're on the internet, students are very easily distracted. Is it from the family around him, from people around him or her, or from the internet? They may miss group work. They must not just ask somebody if he has a problem, but he has to learn to solve the problems him or herself. Students are not used to learn on the internet. This is why they have to be introduced step by step to this kind of work. And students must set their own schedule. They must, for instance, say in the afternoon from 2 to 4, I will work, and then all this is new and makes blended learning different. I was running a course in South Africa, and I asked the teacher to say what they found positive, negative, or interesting in traditional classroom learning. And you may have a look at it and see what they found interesting, what they found positive, a benefit, and what they found negative. If you go through the website, you will also see a few videos where teachers talk about their experience. Go and have a look at it and reflect on this and try to have your own opinion. I asked this teacher as well to talk about online learning. What is positive, what is negative, and what is interesting. And I mean, you'll see these are about the same statements said in different words. If you want to raise your questions and comment on something that you read, just intervene. Now, I ask them about blended learning, positive, negative, and interesting aspects of blended learning. And you see here what he said, best of both face-to-face and online learning. But there is nothing which has only advantages. It has also some challenges. And you might not be surprised. Network connectivity is one of the problems. The high workload, you can very easily in a blended learning course give so much to study that the students will be overwhelmed. So, in short, for a learner, the main challenges is that he or she has to organize their learning self-directedly. And what can we do to make this challenge a bit easier? We try to give him instructions, a learning path. If you go on our website, you will see step-by-step new concepts and activities that you can work through. These assignments are extremely important for the digestion of new knowledge and new skills. Another challenge is the security, whether the insecurity, whether he or she has understood. That's why we try to implement formative assessments or feedback to give them a chance to ask. And we were before also insisting on isolation as a main problem for blended learning, for blended learner. That's why I asked you to also discuss with each other. This might be maybe in the Zoom session, but you are coming from, I think, 3 different colleges. Why don't you make a round and discuss what you learned? Because these collaborative activities are very much more efficient than when you just sit down and study on your own. So for a blended learning course, you must always have the needs of the students at the center. Try whenever possible to organize collaborative learning phases. In face-to-face sessions, if these face-to-face sessions are not lectures anymore, but much more interactive and active learning sessions. Try to motivate your learner as much as possible. And of course, it's always easier if you can not just hear your instructor, but if you can talk to somebody about what you learn. And that's another opportunity. I gave them another opportunity to talk about the challenges of online or blended learning. And you see, this is quite a number of challenges that we have to think about. And don't think that it's so easy for the students to adapt. You have to give them help and give them opportunity to ask questions. how can we try to overcome this? It's always interesting to engage learners, to put them into activities where they can use the concepts that they have learned. Now, for you as a teacher, it's also quite challenging. Normally, we can easily put assignments, but we should also think of this type. Blended learning is maybe more effective, but it takes also time to digest the new concepts. Give them a lot of feedback, verbal, or make surveys. We will learn how to make very easily surveys and where you can get information. Just to remind you, I also gave you an opportunity to respond to a survey. Please, I have had a number of respondents, but not yet all, as far as I know. So please go to this link and respond to these surveys. We can learn a lot from your responses and can adapt afterwards our course. So we, as a teacher, we also have to get acquainted, familiarized to digital tools. We should also always try to get the feedback from the learners, otherwise you feel like flying blindly. There's another one who wants to enter. You have to build a human relation as much as possible. That's why I prefer, we couldn't arrange it this time. I normally prefer to have, first of all, a face-to-face lesson, and then afterwards the blended learning, the online phase, and then again face-to-face. Give the students orientation, the learning path on the website. On the website, we have not just information, but we have them ordered in a good structure so that the learner can build his own skills and his own knowledge. Okay, now we will meet on Wednesday at the same time for another Zoom meeting. Now I want you to work now. If you have not yet finished chapter 1, work through chapter 1. And then if you have done this, we have another task that you can, that you should study until Wednesday noon. And it is formulated here. You might have received it already. If not, I will send you this, because you can then study chapter 2. You should definitely identify one of your courses that is suitable to be transformed into a blended learning mode. Have a look at the aims and objectives of this course and create a suitable timetable. I will show you what I mean with this. What is the outcome of this task? Write a short description of your selected course, title, goal, content, and design a suitable time frame of your course. What is a time frame? I could probably have a course that is 5 days. So the time frame are 5 days from 9 to 4 p.m. Or it is a course with about 8 weeks. So I would like you to define whether how much is face-to-face and when are these face-to-face sessions and how much time do you spare for the online self-directed learning. Now, just to give you an idea, I said go through the chapter 2, planning the course. I click now here, and you have here some text. You have here a short video tutorial, what learning objectives, why they are important, the relevance. And you have here the task to create a time frame. I have put here a number of possibilities. For instance, a course for 4 weeks with live lessons, a course for 8 weeks, or a course about a semester, 14 weeks with maybe two online sessions or 2 face-to-face sessions on campus, preferably. And so, because for afterwards learning how to work, how to plan the course, we definitely need this kind of time frame. Now, Christian, I would like to ask you about this type, these first steps of our course. What is your experience concerning the reaction of the students? What was different for you personally as a teacher? And how is your solution for your course? It's concerning the time frame. How much live lessons, how much online lessons, and so on. Christian?
Hello, Ernest.
Yeah. Did you hear my request?
Yes.
Okay.
Can you please come again?
Yeah. I just wanted you to tell us about your experience. In what sense are these challenges for the students? Did you experience this? How did the students react to these challenges? Was your problem to adapt to blended learning? And finally, what is your solution concerning the time frame for your semester course?
Okay, thank you, Ernest. First of all, just to summarize for our participants, what we are doing in blended learning is to bring together elements of online learning and traditional face-to-face. So we are used of traditional face-to-face classes. You go to a class, you lecture, you give assignments, you collect and you make your test, etc., etc. Online, you do everything online, as we are doing now. You learn everything online. But when we talk about blended learning, as Ernest was explaining, you mix the two elements. You have the element, you have the time where you can meet them face to face, and there's time where you can actually give them assignments to complete online. And this is what is blended learning. This is the meaning of it. So as I mentioned, I started using blended learning when I was in Mwenge Catholic University. So before I came to Dodoma. My view is that students have mobile phones, students are always on WhatsApp, and if you make use of these tools very well, you can actually see that you can apply blended learning. Blended learning can be adequately applied in our environment. So in the beginning, it was a challenge, both at Mwenge and Dodoma. The challenge was that students were not used of anything organized online, even though as teachers, we know, as lecturers, we know students are always online. They search resources online, etc., etc. So for me, it was the question of awareness. So I tried to help them to understand why are we doing blended learning. And the simple language was that I want to help you to find resources. I want to organize your online activities so that you know where to go. And when I clarified that, and I had the website in place, students were they were really quick to catch up with the new approach. So the challenge for me would be is something new. Students are not aware that they're always online. So they think when you talk about online learning, then it's like killing the face-to-face experience. So when I dealt with that, I think students catched up and we went quite well. Another challenge, I would say, most students do not have computers. They're using mobile phones. And this could also be a limitations in some ways. So in the beginning, to address this challenge, when I have elements of online learning, I would put the resources in the computers. So the universities have computer rooms. So I will put the resources there and students know the files and then they can go there and pick up the resources. So if I want them to read the PDF document or I want them to go through a certain video, watch it and reflect, or have an audio, I want them to reflect, or I have a book, I want them to read. So I will put all these together in the
I think we have lost Christian. I wonder whether he comes back. If you have a question, you can easily raise your voice. Yeah, he's trying to enter again.
Oh, sorry, somebody called and I had to wait. I have to
Okay.
go. I'm sorry. So I had to use computer rooms and put all the resources for my students to have access. So that was the second challenge, that some students have mobile phones and they do not have, sometimes they say they don't have bundle, while I know it's true that we know the students are always online. The third challenge was the fact that I started giving tests online, and we will learn about how do you give these online tests, self-grading tests for students. That was a challenge in the beginning because to manage to have these tests managed and to follow, to make sure that students have logged in and they have joined the link and they have done the questions. It was difficult in the beginning, but later I can tell you at Mwenge and at Dodoma, I have up to 98% attendance. I have shared these the attendance. I mean the links to the test to Ernest, so he can confirm. When I can have 700 students and online response can be up to 670 or 80, and you have only 20 missing. So for me, I realized even though students can be reluctant in the beginning, when you explain, when you help them to know how to have access, how to join, how to do these tests. You have the specific time, for instance, students can actually enjoy online grading than the pencil or the conventional test we give where we mark the papers, etc., etc. So for me, to make sure that students are interested with online assessment or tests, I set a very specific time in a week where they can do quizzes. So I avoided random quizzes. So I will have quizzes only on Sundays. So when they have completed all the assignments, every student knows on Sunday by 6 a.m. the link is open and it will be closed in the evening. So I'm talking about quizzes where students can freely do the quizzes wherever they are, and they were attending. So I also tried the test, the very specific time for the test. So I would say, for instance, the test will be done on Thursday at 12:30, and they will have an hour for the test. I have seen the response is very good. So somebody may ask, how do you give online tests? What about the quality? How do you know that they are not cheating, etc., etc.? I have learned is the question of how you compose your questions. And if you compose them very well, students can actually attend, and you can see the curve. I know you have learned about the normal distribution curve. The normal distribution curve can be guaranteed. So it's how you create the questions, make them competence-based. And I think we'll talk about this. And you have the questions done, the test done correctly. And for me, I have seen TCU have the guideline. They accept, TCU accept blended learning, and they allow the use of online quizzes, online tests. So it's just a question of how you organize it and how you compose your questions. TCU accept this. So if you're teaching teachers colleges, I also understand that the ministry recognizes the use of online resources, so you can always apply them in your context. I understand for teachers college like Marangu, it could be that students do not have access to bundles because they don't have money. We can understand. But I also know that most teachers' colleges now have internet. We have reliable internet in most teachers' colleges in Tanzania. So what we can do is to give the management, the college management, the reason to open these resources for students. Because now maybe they don't really open the resources, they don't open internet for students because they don't know that maybe they don't know whether you need internet for learning. When they know that students can actually learn by using internet, I'm very sure that they can increase access for learners to apply, to try blended learning. So those are a few challenges I have encountered on the part of students, but on part of my colleagues, my fellow my fellow lecturers. Well, in the beginning, they will think that you're lowering the quality, but it's just explaining to them that when you you give assignments to students, you always tell them, go and search online. And what I'm doing is I build the website and I have all the resources organized, and then students can go and they know where to get all these resources. So when you explain like that, people understand. So there are challenges, yes, but you can always think of the best way to address these challenges. Maybe that's all for today, but I can assure you, when you read, because I usually do the course evaluation in the end. I have many course evaluations I have conducted at the end of the course, asking students about their experiences. 90 plus students are very happy with online learning, and they will recommend it to other courses or to other lecturers. So I can encourage you, we can always learn how to do it, and students can benefit from this experience. Thank you, Ernest.
Well, thank you very much, Christian, for your interesting report about your experiences. And I think you must have also realized how he step by step built a blended learning course. And it's not just for you as a teacher that you're not overwhelmed with all these different elements, but it's also for the students that get familiarized with this kind of learning step by step and realize the advantages and learn how to cope with all these problems. Well, I'm sure you are now, you have heard a lot of elements now, but it's time now for you to study here this chapter 2. If you have finished chapter 1, go through the whole process, and then at the end you might also go through the chapter 2 review, where you can test yourself, where you can find out whether you really understood what you have read. Then you might go back and realize that there are other that you have maybe missed something. Now, just to give you again this task, we will meet on Wednesday, same time. I will immediately afterwards publish the link to the next Zoom session, and also send you the task, this assignment that you should finish before Wednesday at noon, so we can respond to what you have said. You are always welcome to ask other questions that you have. You have our email addresses, so you can contact us anytime. So I would say for me, it was a very positive experience. We had all members of the group together, and I hope that we have so helped to give you a good start into the course. Do you have something else, Christian?
Yeah. So I think I must thank everyone. We have 100% attendance today.
Yes.
So we will improve on Wednesday. Come on time. I also, I'm not sure if Tabusia has sent you some money for internet, but she assured me that she will do so. So you will receive 30,000 from Tabusia. That is meant to make sure that you can attend these. You can actually read, you can use the bundle to read on your own, go through the website as Ernest was explaining, but also to make sure that you can also join our Zoom sessions on Wednesday and Friday. So I will urge you to be on time so that we have the discussion. So you read chapter 1 and 2, for today and tomorrow, and you complete the assignment so that when we meet on Wednesday, we have something to talk about. So that's all I wanted to say, but I'm so happy that we have started very well.
Thank you, Christian. Thank you, everybody. I'm looking forward to see you on Wednesday. Good luck. Thank you.